Alright, so in this video we're gonna learn something called the decision making, the conditional, okay, the conditional. So what is the conditional? Sometimes when you write your program, you want your program to execute instructions conditionally. Like if something happens, then I want my program to do this. Otherwise, if the other thing happened, then I wanted to do this different thing. Otherwise, I wanted to do something else, and so on. So that is called the conditional programming. So the most basic way to write conditional code is to use the if statement. So that's a keyword. That's the if, it's a keyword. So the if keyword always has to be followed with opening and closing parentheses. And inside that parentheses, we're gonna have a logical expression. Okay, so inside the parentheses, there must be something that could be equals to true or false. If it's true, then the condition has been satisfied, so we're gonna execute some instructions. Otherwise, if it's false, we're not gonna do anything. So for example, let me give you an example. So I'm gonna write a simple program which will print like hello if a condition is true, okay? So the only remaining thing that we have to do here is to put in the condition inside the parentheses. Say for example, if 7 is bigger than 4, okay? If 7 is bigger than 4, then we're gonna print hello. So let's try to execute the program, and as you can see, it prints hello because that is true. 7 is bigger than 4. If we put in another condition which is not correct, like 7 equals 4, which is false, then nothing will happen. It will not print anything, right? Now the if statement will be followed by a bunch of instructions. So in order to like put a lot of instructions, more than one instruction, you have to open a curly braces, these open and closing curly braces, and your code, your instructions that you want them to be executed conditionally must be inside that curly braces. Otherwise, if you don't use that opening and closing curly braces, only the first instruction will be considered conditional, and the rest of instructions will not be considered part of the if statement. They're considered as if they are independent instructions. So I recommend that you always, after the if and then the condition, you always put all of your code inside the curly braces. It's a good habit to do so. So if I try to compile and run again, well, nothing happens. Now this is the most basic if statement that you can do in your program. But again, you can also add an else statement, else after the if. Always use the else after the if. If you use else independently, an error will be generated. Like it will tell you, oh, there's no if. What else are you talking about? So inside the else, I'm gonna print hi, okay? So if 7 equals 4, print hello, else print hi. So the code is self-explanatory. So if this is true, then do this, otherwise do this. So if I try to compile and run, you can see it prints hi because 7 is not equals to 4. Okay? You can always add else if statements. So else if, and then you give it another condition, like 7 is bigger than 4, for example. And then a bunch of instructions. So if this is true, then this will be executed. Else, if this is true, this will be executed. So let's print yay. Else, if none of these true, then this code will be executed. Of course, you can add in as much else ifs as you want. Okay, so if this is true, this will be executed. Else, if this is true, this will be executed, else if something is true, then that will be, the next code will be executed, and so on and so forth, a bunch of else ifs, until you finally put in the else, okay? And as you can see, yay, because the second condition is true. You can also get rid of the else statement, it's not required. So yeah, so that's if and else if, okay? So the else means actually if all of the above is false, then execute this, okay? So that's the else if statement. There's also another way of dealing with conditionals. It's kind of not so used by a lot of developers, a lot of programmers, but it's good to know it. So for example, you can say int a variable a, and then a will contain, we're gonna make a logical expression. Say for example 5 is bigger than 4, okay? And then we use this question and mark, and then we use the first value, let's say for example, I don't know, like 1, and then a colon, and then 2, for example. So the meaning of this, we're going to evaluate this expression, okay? If this expression is true, then we're going to return the first value, otherwise we're going to return the second value. So so for example, 5 is bigger than 4, right? That's true. So we're going to return the first expression. So all of this will equals to 1. So actually we're putting inside a the value of 1. And if we try to print the content of a, you can see that it's going to print 1. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so there's also another conditional version of the codes. It's called the switch statement, okay? Switch statement. Now the switch statement actually takes a variable. Say for example, I don't know, a value or a variable, say 5. And then there's an open and a close and curly braces, and then we're gonna put in a bunch of cases. So case, I don't know, 1, and then colon, and then do this, print f hello, and so on. You put in all of your cases, and then the keyword break. Case 5. I'm gonna explain the meaning of this in a minute. So printf hi. And then you can add in the default. Well, let's get rid of the default. Whatever. So basically, the switch statement is just some kind of like a multiplexer. Okay, multiplexer. So we give it a value, and it compares the value to all of the cases. Okay, so 5, does it equal to 1? No. Does it equal to 5? Yes. So we execute the instruction here. Okay, we can put in a bunch of instructions, not only one instruction. So yay. And then a bunch of instructions, and then the keyword break, so that the code knows where to stop executing instructions. Okay. So as you can see, it prints hi and then yay. Okay. So basically, it compares your variable here to the one. To the one in front of the case that equals to that, and then it prints all the instructions after that. Okay, we're not gonna use this like a lot, but you're gonna have to know that it exists. Okay, most of the code you're gonna write will be like if else statements, stuff like that. All right, so see you on the next video.